So understanding flood risks, now we're going to talk a little bit about what is the real risk. Traditionally with legacy with FEMA, you had a flood zone and you had a rate. Didn't really address risk much. We talked about flood maps. Now with 2.0, they're addressing this a little bit, but what the real risk is said, flood zones determining rates probably was one of the big red flags, is that, hey, all rates are the same in this area if the foundation's the same. And the problem was still the danger today is using flood zones to determine risk. So I showed you that flood map area, the non-required area. Well, unfortunately, a lot of people think non-required means my property is not going to flood. And that's why almost 30% of flooding happens in those areas, is that those flood maps do not currently address excessive rainfall. They're addressing like coastal flooding, river flooding, maybe that creek flooding, but they're not addressing a lot of these areas that are flooding from flash flooding right now. And so a lot of customers feel that they know the risk, but they really don't. So what is a flood score? Flood score is usually 1 to 100. We use it personally. We built our own. Carriers have built them. And what it's really doing is giving the customer an idea of 1 to 100, what's the chances of my property flooding? I'm in a flood zone of X, but what does that really mean? Like, how close to water am I? What's my estimated premium? And the other reason I'll tell you how to use this too is that now we subscribe to some of the software that carriers do. And when a flood score is over a 55, we can pretty much tell you that 80% of the private companies would deny it, because that usually means they're in that 20-year flood zone, probably has a basement foundation based on that score. But then it gives the customer a good understanding of, hey, is this property going to flood? And what am I getting into?